Okay, there we go. Let's get going on this. So, who here is currently running ads or you've tried ads in the past? I'm curious. Go ahead and drop in the chat if you have. I'm curious as to level of experience here. Oops, made that a little too turn. This has got a problem. There we go. There we go. There we go. Is that right? All right, let's see. Yes, yes, some. So have you had results from your ads? I'm curious, what have you gotten out of them? Have you gotten customers? Have you been able to build a list? Yes, Wanda, great. Great, great, great. Oh, clicks. Okay. Oh, more people coming in. All right, so let's talk about, okay, a little bit. All right, okay. So this is why I am talking about this today. There is, it's easy to just like go in the ads manager, right, and start an ad campaign. And Facebook will let you give them as much money as you want, and they don't care if you make any money. As much as we love the platform, this is part of the issue with it. And so I've been running ads in general since I think 2002 were my first ads. I'm talking like print ads. I've run ads in print. I've run ads on the internet, like when it was like radio shows and stuff like that. I've done a lot of vendor events, which I still consider are, uh, advertising when you're standing and you're paying to be standing there behind a table for 2 to 3 days or maybe a couple hours. And that people, when I first started I've had multiple businesses, but when I first started in my network marketing business, everybody ran ads. I mean, that's what we did. And you'd run ads in magazines, papers. Where else would we run? At magazines, papers, um, local newspapers, like we do the flyers, like the shopper clipper papers, that kind of thing. And that's what we did. It was a huge part of how we promoted back then. And the thing was, and I remembered this because I mean, I came in at that time, and some of the people I know to this day came in and were very successful uh, results of people's advertising campaigns. But one thing I knew was when they ran an ad, they asked somebody for, well, the person running the ad said, "Hey, I've got this thing for you. Call for the free thing." This was before the internet, okay? Call for the free thing and we'll send it to you. Or call for the thing and, if you pay $5, we'll send you a sample pack, that kind of thing. So for decades and decades, this worked. And then when the free internet came along, social media gave us great promise that we would be able to grow an empire off of free promotion. And it worked in a little bit because it was new, it was shiny, there was a lot of people on, and it really did not last very long. And the platforms, all of them, Google, Twitter, Twitter ads were really good at first, and then it's not that way. YouTube, which is part of Google, Facebook, Instagram, that was all free at first. And then what happened was they put in their advertising networks, and Google laid the railroads for everything to come with their ads network. And we're still on that. We're actually on the ads back, like the early campaigns that weren't even Google are still some of the ad networks that are currently running today. And here's the thing, ads do work, but the problem is ads are only about 13% of what makes the whole thing go. Everybody comes to me and they're like, Jen, I want to run an ad. I want to know the words. If I learn the magic words, or if I can get lucky and get an ad that is something that takes off or whatever, they're like, that'll be great. And I'm like, well, it's not about one ad working well. There is no magic script or word. And even if you had an ad that got insane results, like really great lead flow, opt-ins, everything, it would probably not make you money, because unless you're running e-commerce, which is a different story. I don't do e-commerce where you're running and selling stuff off right off of an ad, where it's like, hey, I got this thing and you could buy it right here, click to go buy it. I mean, that's a totally different animal. The Facebook platform is actually built for e-commerce and optimizing e-commerce. It's not built for team building or coaches or insurance agents or things like that. It's built for e-com. And the thing is with the platform is that it will give you the results, and it will give you the results based off of who it thinks will respond to your ads. So your ad creative needs to be dialed in to the ultimate prospect and really speak to that person. And then less important nowadays is the targeting in the ads manager. But if you have your ad and people are clicking and giving you their information, this is just a small part of it. One of the other things, and I see it here even in the chat, is that, ads that, Facebook has many types of ads. They have, traffic ads, which are the worst ads in the entire world. Traffic ads are really, really bad. One of the worst ever. They are a very fast way to make your money go up in smoke. Um, Traffic can be used when first really creating an account to get some clicks and stuff. But honestly, I don't ever use them because Facebook's just like throwing your stuff out there. Now, in well, they're traffic ads, but they call this like awareness ads, which is traffic. So it's like reach and awareness are in there. Ow, my foot. So I was trying to move back. Reach and awareness and traffic, these are ads that are literally putting things out there with no particular uh, tangible result unless you're selling really off of that. And there's a time and a place for them. I really don't even ever use them myself. Now, the ads that do get results and can convert to leads are your engagement and your lead generation ads. And the lead generation ad, there's many kinds. There are leads that, where they capture the information right in the ad, name, phone number, email. You can send people to a landing page and then capture their information, name, phone number, email, whatever information you're asking on that. That's called a conversion ad. And then there are ads that even go to Messenger that can pull and get people's contact information and send them to Messenger. So these are the kinds of ads that we run. But truthfully, gathering a lead, even through a lead generation ad, isn't going to get you anything, any money, or anything like, result or profits off of your ads campaign unless you have a system in place to take that lead and turn it into something that's like your warm market. You have a lead and anybody can go run an ad and grab and get leads, like pull them off of Facebook and into your own ecosystem. But that is a small piece. Like I said, 87% of what makes a campaign work, it's your system that is your nurture system. your follow-up sequences, your reach outs, the events you invite people to, how you handle your list and nurture your list is the system that you do that is what's going to make that list convert into customers, clients, business partners, like whatever your result is, it happens in the nurturing of the list. Now, even out of like, say, 100 people that respond to your ads, you may get 10 that purchase like right off the beginning, that might get going somehow with you. But then you have 90 people that if you don't nurture that list, those 10 that purchased right from the beginning of like your nurture sequences, those were real expensive customers, right? And if you don't convert them to either long-term buyers, referring individuals, business partners, whatever you're doing with your ads, but you still have 90 people that you have to nurture and bring into your business through follow up, follow through. I mean, there are times that people could be on your list for 10 years. I've had that happen. I built my business and it was a long time I was doing it. And there were people that said, yeah, I've been on your list for like 5 years. I heard that even recently. Jen, I've been following even for this business, my coaching and consulting business for the Facebook ads and marketing, they said that they they've been on my list and been following me for like 10 years and they never purchased anything and then they decide to do that. So what do you do with that? And you have to have a system to follow up and follow through. I think the most important thing I can teach people is not even about the ads. Yeah, I mean, people feel like that's the unicorn that keeps escaping them and they can't get lucky with a good ad. But really, it's about what happens before the ad, the planning it out, the strategy that you put together, that then you harvest the lead and get that person captured where you're collecting their personal information to follow up. The greatest mistake, especially after you do some warming up on the accounts, is only relying on engagement and traffic and stuff like that. I think it's a waste of money unless you are a really great e-commerce marketer. And I don't attract that crowd. That's not what I do. E-commerce is a completely different thing. Every market on Facebook is different. Affiliate marketing ads are different. Ads that are e-commerce are totally different strategies. Coaches have different strategies, network marketing, different strategies, insurance people, different strategies. I mean, there's a whole plethora of different ways to do things, and every market has a different strategy. But when it comes to systems, ultimately, I believe that there's a system that works for a lot of it. And so I'm going to share kind of what I follow and what I believe is, well, I mean, I've been doing this for a long time. I've been working as a marketing coach and mentor, consultant, whatever you want to call it, for almost 10 years. And we've been doing this for a long time. Um, so there we go. So here is the system. And when I say that the ads are a small part of it, I really mean that it's a small part of it. I really truly mean that it is a small part of the whole thing. So when you are, your ad is right here. This is it. You see how many other things there are here other than the ad? And if you rely only on an ad to speak to somebody, you're missing all these opportunities for your nurture sequence and getting people converted into your business, whatever it is. So the first step in everything, let me get a little bit thicker pen on here. Let's make this a little thicker. Here we go. So it's a little easier to see. The first thing here is to plan. if you don't plan who you're marketing to, you're running blind in the ads manager. You're going in there, and I'll even when I'm talking to my clients, I'll say, I had one last week that did it. She started typing her ad in the ads manager, like right in. And I said, you don't have this written somewhere else where you are uh gonna, take it from off like in a Google Doc or, something like that. And she's like, no. I'm like, well, don't write your only copy right here in your ad. You've got to have this planned. And you also need to do other things like do market research. A lot of people, I don't even know, they're not even talking about it these days, and I don't know why. But you have to do your market research so you know what is your ideal client or business builder or you know, brand partner, whatever it is you're looking to do, what do they even want? What's their problem? Who's the demographic? What are they interested in? What are the words they're using? What are they searching? What are they responding to? What's current? I mean, you have to do this number one. And most people go right in the ads manager, they write an ad, and they don't do this correctly. They don't warm up their account correctly. They run an ad, they call people or whatever, and they don't this is it. They literally, and that's why they lose money. And the system, and by the way, this system is one that I came up with. I mean, a lot of people use something, to some degree similar, which is, kind of the hold on, I can't erase and do two things. Um, so we have I gotta make sure I'm doing the right thing here. Um, this is my personal system that I have put together. Now, with this, if you're, like I said, the main thing that everybody's doing is the ad. But like I said, you've got to do the planning. You've got to warm up your ad account appropriately. You have to do this. This is really, really important where you go in and you get Facebook even thinking about the audience and the avatar that you are wanting to hit. It's really about warming up the ad account so that Facebook honestly really doesn't like it if you're brand new and then you start going right in on a lead ad like this and capturing leads. They do prefer you warm up the ad account with some engagement ads and things like that. But the engagement ads are also something that is a now and a later thing. The engagement ads here, the second thing, they also feed the lead ad, that or conversion ad or whatever kind of lead capture ad that you're using. But they're also part of the long-term strategy that we use through retargeting or even creating further awareness of the brand. There's always ads that we're running. We're running some ads that are capturing the lead information, but also creating engagement because these two are very synergistic back and forth. Okay. Now, once somebody responds to the ad, we can talk to them through the Facebook Messenger. Some ads we can run right to the Messenger, engagement ads. We can even send a lead ad capture to Messenger after we capture the lead if we want to. We've got this opportunity for follow-up. So this is the first way that we can communicate with the prospect. We like to send them after they respond to an ad to a presentation site. Very simple 4-page little site where you are showing your stuff, right? And often here there could be a little chat bot on there, where people can immediately converse. There can be a plugin to chat through the phone. I mean, that's another way that people can add plugins on those pages. When you go to a website and it's like chat with an assistant or whatever. So this is the second way. that you can converse with a prospect. The third way is immediately when somebody responds, is you put out, you've got your automated sequences through your email. And so this is the third way that you are conversing with your prospect. The fourth way is a phone call. Like pick up the phone. In a world today where everybody wants to rely on automated everything, you can automate the lead generation process, but you cannot automate like when somebody wants to talk to you. I mean, people are really on to even the fact, okay, I'm talking to a chat bot or an automated message person called me where, like I had that happen the other day where I was inquiring about getting a generator for my house, and the quote agent that called me, I know was an AI agent. So like people are raising their flag and you got to be a phone call in a world of people trying not to be, uh, developing real relationships. The fifth way that you work with your prospect in the system is through text. Okay, so you can automate your phone. Well, you can automate some phone calls, especially like voicemail drops and stuff like that. The texting automations can go out, your email automations can go out. You can set up some automations in the messenger if you want, through different tools. There's ways to do that. But so here's already, we're on the fifth way. If you see why just the ad alone is not uh, going to give us what we want, this is why, because you've got to catch these people through many different ways in which they like to be followed up with and how they're going to respond. But you have to keep doing these things. You've got to keep emailing for the life that you are building that list. You must keep that list warm even on the text. If they respond to your ad, they are interested in something that you have. So if you feel like if you feel like you're bothering them, you need to get over yourself. I'm just going to tell you straight up. That's a you problem. That's not a prospect problem. If they respond to you giving you their information, they want to hear from you. And unless you're going down like total sales pitch road and being obnoxious and all that, you're actually letting them down and being selfish if you are afraid to follow up. I'm just going to tell you. And you're also wasting your money. It's the fastest way to flush your money down the toilet. So without having the follow-up nurture sequences. Now, if you talk to them and you set either a live appointment or however you're selling, I mean, there's different things, but if they say yes, then you get them going on your goods and services or whatever it is you're offering, whether it's, like I said, coaching or network marketing or, you know, I mean, I work with all kinds of clients, I got a client who's a harpist, a musician. So they either purchase from you or set appointments or, whatever your call to action is, whatever you're selling. Or if it's a no, you retarget them and you keep them in your follow-up sequences here, your email, your texting, your retargeting ads, so that you stay top of mind with that prospect. Now, if they do say yes, you also have to have a plan to keep them purchasing and going. Because the most expensive customer that you could possibly have is the one-time customer. If you are in a network marketing type of business, the most expensive business builder is one that only gets enrolled and never gets going to work. So you've got to have your launch program here, or it's launch and retention, as I like to call it. So you have a plan to um, retain your customers, your clients, or your team, if you're building a team, um, to launch and retain over time. So you have a lot of, let me clear these drawings. You have all these different ways in which you're going to follow up. You've got to have this in your system. You've got to have texting sequences in your system. You should have phone calling in your system. It's even if it's automated or you have VAs do it. You should have retargeting ads in your system, your Facebook Messenger conversations in your system. You should have a website, a legit website. And I'm not speaking, if you're in a network marketing type of company, your replicated site, if you have one from the company, is a pile of garbage for Facebook. If you're sending Facebook ads to a replicated website, I can guarantee you at some point you're going to lose your ad account. You've got to have a real website that is a what I call like a hard domain where you own the domain, you can prove ownership over the website, not a replicated website either from corporate or from some company that you subscribe to. You have to have ownership of the domain. Facebook does not like any replicated websites. They hate them. And the question is like people ask me because they're like, how can you coach and work with network marketers and direct salespeople and things like that and stay compliant and not have problems? I said, well, my secret is the system. It's not, I'm not creating ads with those people. They're like, make money now, ask me how. It's not, we're doing real direct response marketing here through the avatar planning, through warming up the account, through nurturing the follow through. So when you get to this point, it's not a spam fest. So you also need to make sure that you have an appointment, a way to set appointments and ask for those appointments. Some people send people right to a calendar. Some people, if you're nurturing and building a brand, you might have your call to action. You may not have them set appointments, but you might have them purchase right here. And then you've got to have your follow-up sequences right here, your retention. You want them to reorder, you want them to refer to you. And that's what the system looks like. Now you can see why only relying on the ad to do the work is the biggest issue. And the question is, how often do you follow up? And if people, somebody asked me, or a long time ago when I first got into this, I asked somebody, hold on, I'm gonna drink my drink here. I said, is today a good day to send a follow-up email? And he's like, yes, every day is a good day. So email every day, texting once a week on minimum. Off the nurture sequences should be going every day for 30 days. You should have a 30-day sequence minimal for this and for this. After the 30 days, the initial sequence, you can text once a week and then email. I prefer to do email every day. I would say, minimal, the very bare minimum lazy person is 1 time a week. But really, you need to be emailing at least 2 to 3 times a week, at least 2 to 3 times a week. Ideally every day if you can. And then also on your socials, you need to be dropping, some other stuff to let them know you're alive, right? You've got your engagement ads that go back. That's part of this retargeting sequence, creating more offers for them and things like that. So you also encourage phone calls. I've got clients that, they email and they text and they follow up, but their magic is here in the phone call. I mean, so many people don't want to pick up their phone anymore. They're like, oh, I'd rather die than pick up my phone. And I'm like, well, I understand, but conversations for some people are their magic. It's just what it is. It's just how they are. And they do really well with the phone call. I have to work and coach people on all of these things because some people they do great and they have great email follow-ups, good ads. They get on the phone and they turn into a weirdo. And then we got to work on coaching them on the scripts on the phone calls. Because as soon as they get on the phone, everybody's broke or everybody's this or nobody shows. Well, that's not a problem with the prospect. 9 times out of 10, It's actually you. I hate to say it, but I know because I was the world's worst person on the phone. There's nobody that was worse than me. I made 5,000 dials, 5,000 calls before I started closing on the phone. I could do a live presentation and close 90% of the room or 100% of the room live, sitting in a live room together. When I got to the phone, I was the worst. Like I turned into a robot. 5,000 dials and conversations. It was terrible. So I know this probably more than anything out there. But you can't rely on one channel. You've got to have a rounded out campaign where you are developing and nurturing this because you're going to get your overtime money. Your stability comes from doing all of this. Your growth in your business comes from, the immediate people that purchase, and then the overtime people are what bring your business, into growth patterns like this. If you only rely on one-offs, you might have this, and then you're going to have this just as fast. So to nurture the list and have your system in place and build a big list that you constantly are, inviting and sending things to and communicating with, that will give you very stable income over the time, which is passive income. People are the big unicorn that they want to catch is the passive income. And if you just are depending on one-off, enrollments or sales or whatever, you're going to go up and you're going to crash. And if you don't nurture there's two places you got to nurture. You've got to nurture here on your loyal raving fans, and you got to nurture the leads that have not purchased from you yet. There's two groups of people that you need to nurture. So if you don't nurture these people over here and you don't launch them correctly, you're not going to have passive income either. And so that's why it is very, very critical. So if you want to have a business that you can, walk away from for weeks, months, travel and, like literally people say, I want to create this business so I can have something for my retirement or my kids or whatever. In order to do that, you have to have a business that's kind of going on its own. And you do that through creating these stable passive channels. The business that I built in network marketing, I have not worked in almost 10 years, and I still earn a big, fat, juicy check from that company because I built relationships. This is not something I pulled out of my butt and just said, oh, I think this is going to work. I've done this for 24 years. It's not new. Like, this is not new. And in the old days, I did not have a lead capture ad that I could run on social media and grab the leads. I had to go out there into my local community and hoof it, man. I was driving from state to state to state. I counted one time I was in 5 states in 2 days, driving and flying all over to capture these leads. Now I could just run an ad. That's why I love ads so much, is that I can literally run an ad and get people from all over the country or the world coming to me versus me chasing them down through schlepping my stuff in my car. Or I used to figure out how could I pack as much stuff in my suitcase on when I would fly. So that's why I love this so much. But your lead capture here, you've got to nurture these folks and you got to nurture your longtime people. That's how I created a residual income, passive income, later income, whatever you want, overtime income, whatever you want to call it. There's this as well. There's an art. This is why it's so important to get these systems in place. So there is the system that I use. This is what I teach, and my clients use it, and we're able to get the momentum when you put all these pieces in place. And that is always being tested and tweaked, and we're always adding in things as the market changes, because we got some cool stuff now that as the market and technology keeps changing and Facebook offers new types of ads, then we can add those in. But generally, this is the foundation of it. The minutia can change, but the concept overall, the system does not change. So there is that. Let me make sure I clear my drawings. Any questions on this? I'm going to open that now. I'm going to see if I don't even know if I have any questions in here. Any questions on this? Because this is, are some of you surprised? Like, wow, I really had no idea that this is what it takes to run campaigns. Because even when you respond to an ad, you don't realize what those people are doing behind the scenes. The good ones are to make these ads work. I'm just curious. Anybody here? Guys, drop in the chat. Krister, what about you? Is anybody alive this morning? I think nobody's alive. Go ahead and drop in the chat. Yeah, Wanda.
I have a question. Okay, so I do e-commerce. I do two things. I do e-commerce and I do excuse me, travel services.
Right.
So this is more like for the travel services, not for the e-commerce, right?
E-commerce is a little bit different. You still, with e-commerce, depending on what you're selling, if you're selling something in a brand where you want to build authority and really a brand around it, you still would do it this way. Like Ronnie's here and she's one of my clients. She is building a brand with her story, her face behind it. So we are capturing leads. That's why
Mm,
almost all companies are that have products, quote unquote, they'll send you to the website to get a 10% coupon for exchange of their email, right? It's very specific and intentional because they're building the list, so
okay.
depending on if it's something that you are, it's your brand, but if you're like affiliating something, you have to, with an affiliate type of program, you have, if you're doing that, it's really important to A, build the list and really build the brand itself, but B, if you want to sell off of a sales page, that is a totally different unicorn. That I
Okay.
would highly, I would either A, pay somebody to build one for you, or
Mm-hmm.
B, learn how to build it. And those things are no joke. I had one built and they're like
Yeah.
$25,000 for a landing page.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm working on that with a person, and hope it is somebody I know. So they charging me a good price to do the to create the landing page and the funnel. So
Yeah, a good funnel. Well, you'll know, I will tell you, you'll know how good it is when it launches.
right, that's what I'm waiting for.
Like,
Really looking forward to that.
yeah, I can tell you the people that I know that are the top in the industry charge about 25,000 for a funnel. And that is like people that are like really, like when you go to a landing page and you see a really good funnel, though that's what they cost, and you can do some of these things, that's the
Mhm.
hardest thing with e-commerce and doing, selling like low ticket items, is that the copy and the psychology has to be right on point or it does not sell at all. Like it won't
Mhm.
sell anything. And I will tell you that'll be your metric so that when you start and run ads, and if it does not convert and sell, that means the psychology and the copywriting is off.
Mhm. Okay.
Yeah, that's how you know.
Okay.
It's like the instant feedback that something is really wrong.
Mhm.
And because
Yeah.
when you see those pages, there's so much that goes into them.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
it's cheaper to get somebody really good than it is to
Mhm.
just try to get through that, because that is extremely hard.
Yeah.
It's extremely hard. Like it's easier to build a brand this way than it is to do and sell right off of a website.
Okay, thank you for the
Yeah.
advice.
No, that's very, very, very good. Okay, we got some people. Jackie, get over yourself when it comes to emails. I know it's a pain in the butt, but one thing I found, Jackie, is that set a time aside every week, and that's when you schedule your stuff out. Or like, maybe you do 2 weeks at a time and you can schedule them out and get them appropriately done. The other thing is once you have enough, once you have like 30 emails, you can kind of reuse some of the follow-up sequences, and then you send emails like a one-off email every week. That really helps. Really. And same with the texting. You can schedule those things out so that you can sit down. You don't need to sit and write one every day. You just sit down and you get a couple in the queue, and that really helps as well. Um, let's see.
I have another question.
Yeah, go ahead.
What do you think? I mean, I think you mentioned something about it, about the email marketing. So you should suggest like some type of email marketing?
Yeah, you cannot email from your personal email address.
Right.
So
Mhm.
you need to use a system. You need to use a system like an email provider. We have I do have uh, a friend that made a hold on, let me get here. And they have a 7-day free trial. My friend Jen that I've done some things with here. We did I worked with them. This is the private coaching clients one for my clients, but well, she added the green in there. She they created this to the specs that I use with my clients. And so in through the Profitly Pro, they put together something where there are presentation websites, follow-up emails, follow-up texting. Um, there's calendar in here. All your tools are in something like, and there's other ones out there that are available. I have a client that is an attorney, and they have one that they use for their attorney business, and theirs is like $599 a month, $599 a month for the same system, similar to what we, put together for people that I work with. I'll just drop it down here in the chat if people are looking for this, because our problem is that um, we were struggling with having the right tools, and you would have to get a subscription for email. You'd have to get another subscription for text. And we plug in another text service for this because it's cheaper than the native one in here. But we'd have to have like 5 different tools in order for people to run their ads. And then you would need Zapier to make the whole thing run. So the problem is that they ConvertKit doesn't do texting. ConvertKit does emailing, but it doesn't do texting. And you also need a CRM so that you can follow up, have the notes, tags, sort in tags. So your CRM, your customer relation management software, is also like there's companies that are like email providers like Aweber, ConvertKit, Constant Contact, but you also need a texting service. And you need that texting service often will have a phone number so you can dial out, but then you need a calendar service. And I don't mean Google Calendar. I mean like a calendar service where people can like book on your calendar. You need that. You also need a CRM so you can follow up and organize your clients or your prospects and your clients, differentiate people. You need that. You also need a hard domain, not just a replicated website. You need a website. So there's other tool. Then you need a tool that's going to go carry the leads from Facebook and drop it into your CRM and your email sequences and your follow-up. Most people use Zapier, but Zapier is real expensive. It's like minimal $250 a year. So we integrated everything here in Profit Lead Pro. So if people want to recreate the wheel, go ahead out there and do it. There's like I don't know, 40 years of experience of people in the industry that's behind Profit Lead Pro. So that's why I had them build it. I'm like, here's the specs, this is what we want, and then they put this together for the tools. So that's why we created it. It's all there. Let's see, Rena, constant contact. Yeah, a lot of them do have funnel page, like landing pages where you can capture the info and put it in, but they've been around a really long time, constant contact. Their designs are limited. They're generic designs. That's why, and honestly, unless you really know, like I was mentioning to Wanda, unless you are an expert copywriter and you know how to write the psychology of getting people to opt in, then the landing pages will be useless. Because then you'll come back and say, oh, I sent people to the website and nobody opted in and gave me their information. So that's, like I said, I really am not a huge advocate of people using opt-in pages unless they've had them professionally built. You can mess with it and play with it, but it's literally like a lot of money, down the toilet if you are building them from scratch. If you've got a budget, like a sandbox budget where you can spend like $500 or $1,000 dialing in your ads, then you can play with those. I mean, I'm just being real. I'm just telling you the truth.
No, thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm just telling you the truth. I find it's easier to use Facebook's lead ads, way easier than we don't need
Okay,
to create landing pages.
perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. And you can do that with e-commerce as well, because my question is more with the e-commerce kind of thing.
Yes, absolutely. Because what if you're running e-commerce, you have to um, offer something for them to give their information, especially like either free
Right,
stuff or coupons or something of that
right.
nature. Hmm. Yep, but you can use lead ads
Okay,
because they can get a
perfect.
coupon. Fill out this below, we'll give you a coupon.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
for
right,
sure.
thank you.
Krister, the rebroadcast will be in the Skool Community for this. So absolutely. Tim, you're going to have to probably recreate a new profile. That's probably what's going to have to happen. If you can't get your profile unlocked, the first thing you could do is get meta verified, get your account, your main profile meta verified. If that doesn't, and then once you get meta verified, then you can work with people. If that doesn't work, you're going to have to create a new profile because you can get support through meta verified. Uh, Having a moment. I'm trying to grab another link for you guys. Okay, there we go. Yeah, meta verified is how the answer to that. Yeah. Calendly is another thing. Like I said, you can either pay for all of your stuff in separate places and have like 10 subscriptions, or like I said, we create, this is not an advertisement for this whole point of this call was, or this training was not to advertise Profitly Pro, but we put everything in one place in Profitly Pro. Your calendar, your email, your text, all of that is in here. Your website, the ability to move people from Facebook into a CRM. It's also a CRM. That is all in one place here. So you don't have to have like 20 different subscriptions. We do use an external texting service to plug it in that will allow it's cheaper than the native one that the program has basic in there. Um, is there a company that is not so generic? What do you mean, Rena, by that? I'm trying to.
Okay, we were talking about constant contact, and
Yes,
you said that their templates that they have are very generic.
right.
And is there a company that has something that is better? I'm not in a position to hire anyone right
What
now.
type of industry are you in?
I'm a counselor going coach, and
Okay,
so
yes,
I wanted to start a school platform myself.
yes.
And I would like to get something that's a plug and play because I I'm not that good at this and I just want to get launched.
Right, right, right. I would say, I have some of my coaching clients use Profit Lead Pro because we did a call on Profit Lead Pro. Oh, it was about, I think it was in February in the school, the rebroadcasts under in the classroom area. I've got all the rebroadcasts. You could see some of the deeper things on it. But you could, I think this has got the dollar trial. You could go in there and check it out. But my coaching clients were using it because we've got some basic websites that are already done, and then I teach the lead ads. And if you've done a call with us, a planning call, like a school launch call,
No, I haven't.
okay, I'm going to put in the chat. um if you have not done a call with us to talk about like what you want to do in your business and kind of plan out that's the link I just dropped in the chat here is our quick start, um, the quick start call that we do. And if any of you have not done one in the past, our calendar gets very, very full. I will tell you that. Sometimes we have to do group onboardings, but if you have not done a call, we can help kind of guide you with what is the right direction. I would say, I have coaches doing different things. I've got some coaches that are very, very skilled and they have a team helping them. And then there's other coaches that I've worked with where we're using the basic lead ads to get them going and build their list the fastest. The one thing that I will say is that here, when we use lead capture ads, we build your list faster. So, like going to a landing page where people are clicking from an ad and then they're giving their information and they're opting in, those leads, and this is a good piece of information for Wanda to know, those leads are typically going to be anywhere from $10 to $20 a lead. Like they just are, like for an opt-in. If we're using a lead ad, they can be a couple dollars per lead. Even my most competitive market, which is the attorney that I'm working with, so the most competitive market in the entire world, we're getting his leads at $50 a lead when normally they're paying hundreds of dollars a lead.
So
So
let me,
yeah,
okay, so then I have a question. So do I need a landing page and a funnel if I want to do e-commerce just with Facebook?
if you're if the sales
You
page,
know, like a conversion link kind of thing.
right, if you want to run, if how depends on how you're selling it. What's the product?
Amazon.
Amazon. I personally, if it was me, I'd be building my own brand and then I would be promoting to Amazon. I know Amazon does have their own ads specifically, which you can
Mhm.
run right to Amazon as well. I would encourage you too to run within the Amazon network as well.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, for
Thank you.
sure. So you can, especially if it's a highly searched product, you can do Google ads, you can do Facebook ads, and you can do the Amazon network. Yeah,
Okay.
very, very,
Uh, I'll look
yeah,
into that. I'm just new on all this.
yeah,
I'm sorry. I just got retired by 6 months ago, and I'm just looking for something to keep myself busy. And I
yeah,
thought
that'll keep
that
you
this might
busy.
be, yeah.
That's a good
So
way.
that's
Well, I'm
so that's
glad
why
you,
I'm like, getting into a little bit of everything to see where I go, where I can go.
Oh, I know. It's a lot. It's like a whole new world, isn't it?
It is, yes.
Great.
But thank you
Well,
for your advice. I
oh,
really
you're
appreciate
so welcome. It's really good. I actually need to go to my next appointment. Meta verified, you should have one main account that's verified, Jackie. You can't have more than one verified. And then you can verify your page, though. You can verify your Instagram accounts, but the main account, your main home base account, you should only have one. All right. Yeah. Yeah, you missed it, Christine, but the rebroadcast will be going. It's 9 a.m. Central. So depending on your time zone, but I'll have the recording up for you. Um, I'll have it up and you can go watch it in the school. The underneath the I also dropped another new training in here, a little bit more. This is brand new. It doesn't look new, but it is new. I still have to go in and even fill in the rest of the description, but I just dropped these videos like 2 days ago. This is deeper into like what I teach and why. And then the live training recordings. These are the Wednesday recordings. So you could go in here and I'll have it in here for you in the next day or so. So, okay. Well, all right, everybody. I gotta hop because somebody's waiting for me, but I will see you all next week. Take care. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Now I gotta figure out how to leave this thing. All right. Have a great week.